Hello, hello, hello. Good evening or good morning, depending on when you are watching this. I have a huge news update for you. I'm going to be going through some big stories. So stick with me to the very end and we will go ahead and jump in. Hi, everybody. Sean, John, Karen, Kelly. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Okay, Joe Biden finally takes action on the border, only for the American public to find out that not one dime of that money goes towards the United States border. Donald Trump continues to be harassed and blocked in New York court. Democrats turn on each other as progressive big government spending candidates get out of control. Plus, Joe Biden forgives himself for $10 million he stole during his election campaign. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out, so thank you so much. I ask you guys to hit like because it tells YouTube to spread the word out to other people, so I really appreciate you guys doing that. Former Watergate scandal prosecutor Nick Akerman sat down with CNN News for an interview concerning the gag order placed on Donald Trump by Judge Marchin. While he claimed Trump deserves it in his opinion, he admitted that gag orders almost never happen and that this is extremely rare. Akerman blamed Trump for being too outspoken against judges, which he argued could be the main reasoning for such strict sentencing. However, we know why they are ordering these super rare, almost never happen gag orders. It's to silence Donald Trump, to stop Trump from telling his voters what's happening to him, how Democrats are interfering in the 2024 election while pretending to fight for democracy. Now, remind me in the comments, how is silencing your political opponent and trying to jail them democracy? It's not. It absolutely is not. This is tyranny, and Joe Biden is a tyrant who knows he can't beat Trump fair and square, so he's using every possible trick up his sleeve. Now, Donald Trump also responded to the gag order by pointing out that the judge's daughter posted a photo of him behind bars in jail. Trump stated, "Let me get this straight. The judge's daughter is allowed to post pictures of her dream of putting me in jail. The Manhattan DA is able to say whatever lies he wants. The judge can violate laws and Constitution at every turn, but I am not allowed to talk about the attacks against me and the lunatics trying to destroy my life." Now, let me know in the chat, why do you think that they are trying to silence Donald Trump? I think it's because they're trying to stack the deck in their favor when it comes to the upcoming election. Disgraced FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried has just been sentenced to 25 years in prison for committing fraud. Some say that's really sad to put a young man in jail for that long, while others, mostly the people who had their money stolen, say, "Are you kidding me? Only 25 years for losing tens of billions of dollars?" Now, the judge who sentenced him, Lewis Kaplan, claimed that Bankman-Fried's desire to be hugely influential in the political space by being rich likely contributed to his desire to commit fraud. In regards to his own words, Sam Bankman-Fried spoke to the court and stated, "I am sorry about what happened at every stage. There are things I should have done and things I shouldn't have done." He has said that the meaningful part of his life is now over. Now, you'll remember that next to Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook putting $400 million into the 2020 election, Sam Bankman-Fried donated more money to get Democrats elected than any other single person. You will also remember that Joe Biden took $10 million from Sam Bankman-Fried. Then it turns out that $10 million was stolen, but Biden doesn't want to repay that. So he got the government to forgive the government so that he and all the other Democrats don't have to return that money. It's just forgiven. It's literally never talked about in court anymore. And that stolen money will never be returned to the investors. So Biden's like, 10 million, that's my entire net worth from Hunter Biden's business dealings. Hey, Department of Justice, will you go ahead and get that removed? Boom, and it was done. Businessman Mike Lindell's company, MyPillow, was just evicted from a warehouse in Minnesota for failing to pay rent. While business was initially booming, everything started to crumble when Mike Lindell claimed the 2020 election was rigged without evidence. It's really sad to see someone's whole business be destroyed simply because he expressed his opinion about the government. Last week, President Joe Biden signed a government funding bill that included $380 million for border security. So why is that a bad thing? Well, this multi-$100 million allocation was for borders in other countries, not for the United States of America. So he finally passes $380 million, and it's just going to other countries. Even though 10 million illegal immigrants have come into our country, he's making sure that other countries' borders are protected. Does someone have to remind this guy that he's the president of the United States and not Egypt or Mexico or Lebanon? This is crazy. 380 million is a ton of money. Not one dime of that goes to America. As Joe Biden is sending our money off to other countries, he just held a fundraiser in New York to get himself reelected. This time, Biden was joined by former presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton in New York to rake in as many donation dollars as possible. Seat prices ranged from $100,000 up to $500,000 a plate to come and hear these former presidents speak. Now, jokes aside, Biden was able to raise $25 million in one night. That's crazy. I wouldn't give this guy a dime, and yet people were giving him $500,000. Now, I know Trump does this by raising money in Mar-a-Lago, but this is just right out of the Clinton playbook to pay to play. Give me $500,000 with no strings attached for a lousy dinner. Of course there will be strings attached. They are buying access to Joe Biden. You think someone's going to give him $500,000 and then expect nothing in return? Meanwhile, over in New York, they literally steal American taxpayer money to give it away to illegal immigrants. I mean, I don't know how else they could show their voters how little they care about them. If you don't have $500,000 to have dinner with me, you're a nobody. You're nothing. You're less than the dust of the earth. We might as well replace you with a bunch of illegal immigrants. That's what they're saying. You can't say that I'm not right, because I am. Actions speak louder than words. If you don't have 500 grand, get the hell out, or else we'll replace you with illegal immigrants. Now, as Joe Biden celebrated his millions, former President Donald Trump was also in New York. Two presidents, actually four presidents in the same city at once, but not for the same reasons. Now, remember, Trump would never be invited to something like this. So, Trump visited the state to appear at a funeral for police officer Jonathan Diller, a 31-year-old policeman who lost his life in the line of duty earlier this week. While outside the funeral home, Trump stated, "We have to stop it. We have to get back to law and order. We have to do a lot of things differently because this is not working. This is happening too often." Now, here's what has happened to Jonathan Diller, this young policeman. This criminal that killed this young policeman was a repeat offender that Letitia James and others in the New York Department of Justice allowed back on the street after committing like a dozen crimes. This guy had broken the law over and over and over again. And they said, you know what? We believe in 12th chances. We'll go ahead and let this guy back on the street. What happens? He pops a cap in this cop and he ends up dying. This guy should have been sitting in jail, and yet things are out of control. Repeat crime, illegal crime. I don't know how the people in New York aren't like pulling their hair out and making a bigger fuss, but what do I know? I'm a conservative libertarian from the state of Utah. Now, the White House has responded to Putin's assertions that Ukraine was responsible for the terrorist attack on the music night out in Moscow, Russia. National Security Advisor John Kirby called his accusations nonsensical propaganda and stated they sought to deflect blame onto Ukraine, the United States, and everyone else who suits their political narrative. Furthermore, he stated, it's abundantly clear that ISIS was solely responsible for the horrific terrorist attack in Moscow. Now, to be fair, Putin's ally, the president of Belarus, even admitted that the terrorists originally fled to his country, but were turned away to Ukraine. So that was the first thing that got Putin thinking, wait a minute, maybe this attack was from Ukraine. Here's the second thing. Russia has continued to push back, asserting that these ISIS terrorists received extreme amounts of money from Ukraine in order to carry out the attack. However, we have to take this with a grain of salt because we don't have the evidence just yet that that is the case. But that is why Vladimir Putin continues to say that this was Ukraine behind this terrorist attack. Now, speaking of Ukraine, House Speaker Mike Johnson reportedly had a conversation with Volodymyr Zelensky. In reference to the call, Zelensky stated they spoke of the importance of cutting off Russia's sources of funding for its war as soon as possible and using frozen Russian assets for Ukraine's benefit. It really seems that Republicans may be giving in to sending more taxpayer money to Ukraine. However, they're saying maybe we'll do it as a loan or with seized Russian assets versus taxpayer money. But either way, it will end up being taxpayer money. Now, we know that this conversation isn't serious because the main source of Putin's funding is oil and gas. The United States does not want Ukraine to go after Russia's oil and gas. Otherwise, the price of oil per barrel would rise quickly. So even if they wanted to cut off Putin, they can't because they need his affordable oil. You know, it's literally, we were told the price of gas was going to go up in order to stick it to Putin, but Putin just sells it to India and then India sells it to us. So by the time it gets to us from Putin, it's just more expensive. Our government is literally that stupid. Now, a group of pro-Palestinian protesters in New York today switched from calling for Palestine to be free and Jews to be killed to now calling for the entire destruction of the United States of America. It's sad to see how far some people's ideology will take them. These people literally hate our country and wish evil on it. More and more is coming out against Sean P. Diddy Combs, the rapper and music mogul. Aside from blackmailing people with gross sex acts and drugs, P. Diddy has now been accused of paying for huge, large crowd orgies at his different mansions. Man, some people just go crazy when they get access to too much money and fame. Mr. Combs is being investigated for drug and sex trafficking charges. Democrats are pushing for Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor to retire early. They say they want a younger, more progressive justice to take her place for the next couple decades. while Biden has a shot to influence the Supreme Court bench. I guess Democrats know they can't pack the court, so now they want to stack the court with progressive, woke, radical left-leaning judges that can't tell you what a woman is or isn't and don't know how to properly uphold the U.S. Constitution. Now, regarding the Francis Scott Key Bridge that went down in Maryland, Biden has promised that the federal government will pay for the bridge. And by that, he means all of the tax money collected from all of the states. However, Republican leaders in Congress are throwing a fit. And even many Democrats are saying, why isn't the insurance company that insures this bridge paying out any money? Why isn't the state of Maryland paying out any money? Why isn't the boat that rammed the bridge paying out any money? Why does it always go to a federal government bailout on every single issue? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. Illegal immigration continues to be a top worry among Americans. However, with an election year and a weak president, Mexico is now demanding Joe Biden give them $20 billion so that they can slow the flow of illegal immigrants. That's equivalent to $10,000 per person they say they will block from coming here illegally. Biden really has allowed the border and the Mexican cartels to get out of control. Okay, now there is a battle quietly taking place in Congress on the Democrat side. Democrats are being told not to publicly discuss this battle, but essentially the squad, which is mostly made up of black and brown women in Congress, plus Jamal Brown of New York, you know, the guy that pulled the fire alarm to block the vote and then had zero consequences. Well, apparently many Jewish leaders in Congress don't like that these people aren't supporting Israel, that they are supporting Palestine, that they want to defund the police. And so they are quietly throwing massive amounts of money at replacing Cori Bush and Jamal Brown, just to name a few of them. So we may see a big change up in who is in Democrat Congress next year, because these people are sick of what is going on. All right, let me read a couple of super chats here. Strange Marvel theories. I heard the media refer to the bridge collapse as a black swan event. Yeah, I've heard the same thing, saying that this was on purpose, that this is to trigger, I don't know, maybe an economic meltdown down in the area, as about 15,000 jobs depend on this bridge. I don't know. Something's not right. There's video out there now. They show the power came back on and the boat literally sped up and then turned right into one of the pylons, one of the footings, and that's what brought it down. But I don't have a definitive answer for you. Awesome Gaming. Hey, Steven, I love your content and what you do. You should do a collab with Neil Johnson and Ron Yates sometimes. Other great Patriot independent journalists and documenters. I'm not sure who Neil Johnson is. I will look that up after this. But Ron Yates is one of my really good friends. He and I text almost every single day. He's in Georgia and I'm out in Utah, but we are very, very good friends. In fact, I've been texting him all day today. So thank you. I will look up Neil Johnson after this broadcast. Okay, in some big Fani Willis, district attorney out of Georgia news, she was dealt a major blow today. Judge Scott McAfee has agreed to allow an appeal by Trump's lawyers before the trial. So it's a pre-trial trial to appeal, showing that Miss Fani Willis is violating Trump's First Amendment rights. So this could become a civil rights issue versus an election interference issue. Miss Fani Willis says these charges against Donald Trump are serious, and not just for his words, but for a real crime he committed. To which Trump's teams responded, which crime? What's the crime? All he did was express an opinion about his concern for the presidential election. Now, we know that over 200 laws were changed 90 days before the election in different cities. We now know that Mark Zuckerberg spent $400 million getting Joe Biden elected with helping mail-in ballots, ballot harvesting, drop-off boxes. And so there was a need to express that concern. But she's saying these words and this concern is a crime. And so that is why she is going after Donald Trump. Also, the Trump team is pointing out that Miss Willis does not, I repeat, does not have the authority to go after one of Donald Trump's co-defendants, a man named Harrison Lloyd, who led the Black Voices for Trump group in the state of Georgia. So apparently she wants to silence Black Voices for Trump so that Black people in Georgia don't go out and vote for Trump. They believe that asking them to show an ID is racist. This is the kind of stuff that she's trying to shut Harrison Floyd down. He was also one of the 19 that was held in jail without bond. So some interesting things going on down in the state of Georgia. Now, let me see. Let's see. Oh, okay. I read that super chat. I hate when a super chat comes in and I forget to miss it. Let me say hello to you guys. Hi, Patsy. My gosh, I've been seeing you for many, many years. It's good to see you tonight. Awesome Gaming, Robin Spillman, David Woods, Marie, Paris. Hello, hello, hello. Love your show. You bring us the truth. Thank you so much. Neil Johnson, I'm going to look that up. Okay, I'm still perplexed as to why people from a Muslim nation attacked people in Russia. Will that affect relations between Iran and Russia, who are economic allies? Okay, let me try to explain this. Good question. Strange Marvel theories. Okay, so this is my understanding from reading the stories. Okay, so there's a couple of things going on. Number one, Putin is saying that Ukraine paid ISIS to attack this music hall in Moscow. I'm just telling you that. I'm not saying that that is true. So that is one story. The other story is that ISIS was attacked by Russia in Syria, where Russia has military and the Russian Federation Army. And so they were basically doing a revenge attack for an attack that that Russia committed in Syria. So that's how that brings them into Moscow. The other thing is that they were saying that they were getting revenge on Trump for Russia not standing up to Trump when Trump called for the assassination order of General Soleimani. So those are, I guess there's three stories going on, but those are the three stories. I hope that gives you an idea. I don't know the real reason. I'm just letting you know the three different stories that I've been reading as I go through this. Hello from the Philippines. Hello from Vietnam. Stephen Gardner is the best on YouTube. I love this guy. You're amazing. You're amazing. No, you're amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here. Yes, Trump does get blamed for just about everything. Hello from Israel. Love your show. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. I wanted to get my kids down so that I could come on and bring you guys the truth and keep you in the loop on what's really going on. If you could, please give this video a like, share it on Facebook and over on Twitter. I would really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. I want you in my community. We've got 1.5 million amazing truth seekers, but there's always room for more when it comes to learning and exposing the truth. Hey, thank you guys so much. I love you. Have a great rest of your day. Good morning for those of you that are just waking up. I love you. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you on the next video.